the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
2 to go. Is anybody to try to maybe make a third line?
This race still very undecided.
The bottom lane just doesn't have enough cars now. The rules have been reversed.
They're running out of time and they know it.
How about Noah Mikulski in the L3? He can his head in front of this battle. The bottom surges to the inside. Now pulls even with help off the turn number 2.
900 horsepower at their feet.
Banks doesn't have a push. Hutton, can he do it off of turn 4? Wright giving him another push. They stack him to the outside. At the line, checkered flag. Big surges to the bottom.
Week number 11 at Kentucky Motor Speedway, Saturday Night Racing League. After a week off for me personally, hasn't disappointed anyone as we near closer to the cutoff bubble. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside my co-commentator of the season, Connor Horn, as we bring you flag-to-flag coverage live on V-Speed. Who's going to put it down out there as Jeff Wright's dominant season has been unfolding week after week? We've only got a variety of winners, 3 to 4 drivers this season. But live for the virtual Kentucky Speedway, it's the Saturday Night Racing League. We get set to grid down there on the Speedway. Connor Horn, you've been around this track a time or two. What can you tell us a little bit about this track and what the secret is in the Old Kentucky?
Well, it is still very, very bumpy. Old Kentucky, New Kentucky, completely different tracks, as we all know. This track was very fun to drive before it got, I guess, technically taken off the service, although it's still able to drive, obviously, via the legacy portion of iRacing. A very fun track. It's not too multi-grooved. You could expect that top line at the very wall to not come in, but we will see drivers trying to wrap it around the very bottom of the racetrack. But the middle of the track, especially through turns 1 and 2, is where I think we'll see the majority of those drivers. That bottom line can wear the right front out pretty easily, but the middle line, you can avoid some bumps, and you can also avoid some chaos if you're careful enough. So I think we're going to see a few lanes tonight, but that middle is going to be good to go. And also the tires will get shredded tonight, no doubt about that.
Our pole sitter up there on your screen, Seth Hatchell, he puts down a good enough lap time here to start in the front row. We're going to take you down trackside now as soon as my B-roll music goes to rotation and get you your starting lineup. All right, here we go. On the pole, as we said, Seth Hatchell with a 31.613. Chuck Sweeting's going to start on his outside with a 31.617. Row number 2 is going to belong to Jeff Wright, the fan favorite, the dominant performance he's had with Joseph McWhorter in the 73. Fifth position belongs to Chad Klinger, second most laps led this season with Michael Sturgill in 6th. 7th will be Alex Bell with Caleb Weekly in the 13 and 8th. And then rounding out your top 10, the 23 of Ray Massey and Eric Hutton in the 88.
Then just outside the top 10, we still have some fast drivers. Ryan Carwall being one of those who sneaks his way to the front near the end of these races. And also Joel Swain, a newcomer this week to the series in the bright STP Pontiac. You'll see him stick out from the rest of the competition. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, a solid season so far, starting back in the 13th position alongside Brandon Wallace in the 99, who had a rough time at Richmond last week. The other Swain driver tonight, Jared Swain, Mellow Yellow Pontiac, so 2 Pontiacs tonight from their stables. He starts 15th alongside Max Cost in the 16th position. And that is all 16 drivers who put a time down. Then you get to the guys who did not get a time down. AJ Stavato being one of those. Once again, not able to put a time down. Hampered him at Richmond, cost him a shot at the win. He'll start 17th alongside Jonathan Cofield, who's been having internet issues in practice. So he can complete the race tonight. And then the final row, rounding out the top 20, the final row in the top 20, Stephen McDonald and Michael Costa.
21st spot, it's going to be Lucas Lyons with, I believe that's Daniel Cunningham. Yeah, sorry, lost track there. And then rounding out your field will be the 71 of Mark McFadden in 23rd spot. So they gave us an extra pace lap, thank goodness, because we were really far behind, had some severe weather coming through. Things got crazy for me. I don't know about you guys out in the Midwest, but things just got out of control for me. Tornado warnings, just a variety of different severe weather. My wife was out at a show. She's calling me. I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, get in the truck and go home. That's what you should do.
Seems like the most reasonable thing to do.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where I can't do anything, so I'm helpless. We're gonna just recommend whatever we can, whatever advice I can give you. Hopefully you make it home. But we're back, live racing, ready to go. Saturday Night Racing League for race number 11 at Kentucky Motor Speedway. The 1.5 mile that doesn't exist anymore. The new configuration with green walls, new pavement, and it's only fitting that these cars in their era come to the old setup here at Kentucky. Pace car pulls off, getting ready to go green for the first time tonight. The restart zone, live and racing. Barney hits the flag, and we're ready to go. Seth Hatchell leads him into turn 1. And to lead lap number 1, it's going to be Seth Hatchell. He's able to hold off Jeff Wright, who came from 4th position up to 2nd very quickly. That 48 car has been strong. Let's see if the 84 can hold him off.
He started 3rd, immediately challenged for the lead in the turn number 1. Chuck Sweeting just did not get going from the 2nd position. He's almost dropped to the 4th position. Chad Klinger, last week's winner, trying to battle him for that as these top 2 have broken away, as 48's just trying to stalk that 84, trying to find a way by as the battles for 3rd.
3rd position, Chad Klinger. We talked about how many laps he's led, and I believe it was 2nd most. I said it during the grid. I could have been incorrect. I know that the 36 car, Joshua Banks, has a lot of laps led this season as well. And each short track that we've went to, that guy has been stout. He's almost filled the gap where Jeff Wright doesn't do well. Chad Klinger and Joshua Banks fill in that void.
Yeah, funny enough, looking at the stats that I have up right here, coming in tonight, there was no separation between Chad Klinger and Jeff Wright. Each of them led 358 laps this season, which is funny to think about considering Jeff Wright has 5 wins and Chad Klinger only just picked up his first one of the season last week at Richmond. But both even on laps led, and they stay even as Hatchell continues to lead the first 3 laps of this one.
Hatchell able to hold on to it 0.2 of a second as we go on to lap number 5. The 84 has the speed. He's had it all season long. And when we watch other leagues, we talk about the BTDY League on Tuesday nights, which will be starting back up here in September, early September. Hatchell has been a really strong competitor in that league. It's just things haven't went his way. So to see him start up here on the pole, I think things are going to be a little bit better for the 84 car tonight.
I would think so. He's made limited starts this season. He's gotten top 10s in each of his 3 starts in the Saturday Night Racing League, including 2 top 5s at Auto Club and Daytona. And his worst finish of the season was that 1.5 mile at Kansas that became a fuel race at the end. So he hit the wall early in that race as well, but he did show speed. So when he starts in this series, in these Gen 4s, he has speed, but you just got to hone that speed and make sure to not make mistakes. He's doing a good job of that tonight with the 48 all over his bumper. Well, not anymore because he's blinking out a little bit, but Jeff Wright continuing to pressure him, but he's doing a good job staying in the lead. As we look at the back, look at these newcomers battling. That's Jared Swaim and Stephen McDonald going at it. That's for 15th.
Yeah, I was watching the 63 Acosta to the inside. They were battling. The 42 of Swain looks like he's kind of struggling a little bit here in the middle of yellow 42. He put down a pretty decent start. We'll bring those stats back up. But it seemed like he had good short run speed for the first couple laps, and now all the guys he got by are starting to pass him back.
Say the same as bad as teammate Joel Swain. They started 12th and 15th. The 43, that STP Pontiac is going backwards as well as, looks like, see Jonathan Cofield pulling to the apron down the back straightaway. He talked about his internet issues. I think he's going through storms himself, and he's just blinking in and out, so could be an early end to his day, as he didn't really get a chance. But yeah, those 2 teammates, 42, 43, drop him back early.
And this is a car that drives on the right rear, and it's good to see it back on iRacing. But for people that are newcomers to the service or have gotten used to the old tire or the new tire model, this car really doesn't favor that, and you have to be really careful. You can go out and use up that right rear rather quickly. I think that's a product of what's happening to the Swain brothers right now. Teammates out there. There's consistency. Taylor Butcher Benjamin getting up on the bumper of Eric Hutton for the 11th spot. Thought we were going to see a pass going into 1, but he backed it off. Here comes the pass out of 2.
He'll try to look low and using Nippa's tire to get to the left rear. He's not quite there, but I think Hutton's going to have to give him the room down there because of how close it is. As TBB going for that 11th position. As up ahead of that, Alex Bell and Ryan Carwell battling for the 8th position. These are the 2 side-by-side battles we have right now. Besides, well, 3 of them. We got Joel Swain and Michael Kostick for 18th as well, but looks like Hutton's going to be able to hold off Taylor Butcher Benjamin and Stravado. There's the 33 coming through the field quick, and he got by the 15 in a hurry.
Stravado sent it down in that corner. I thought for sure he was going to hit the back or the right. He was going to play it the right front into the side of the 15 for sure.
He almost bangs doors with Carwile. One Marnie Carwile!
Oh, there is a wreck. And that's going to bring out a yellow, the 33, who, in my opinion, was driving really aggressive. Thought he was going to get away with that. That was close.
That came out of nowhere.
I don't think you can pin that on either one of those guys because the 33 put it down in there and it didn't stick. We're going to go back and take an instant replay to find out exactly from every angle that we can get.
The virtual driver's okay. That's driver's side. As we'll get back going. Let's go to our instant replay.
Let's go a little bit further back.
We see close side-by-side action. And they just got hooked, and that's a race-ending hit for Travado. I can only imagine how hard he hit that concrete wall. Really odd. Carwell was pinching hard, but the 33 was also driving hard. Just, Carwell could give more room on lap number 10. But
I think Carlisle could give more room, but I also know that if we go back a couple laps, you saw the runs that the 33 was taking. He was taking whatever spot they were giving him. And so when it didn't stick anymore, he kind of drifts up there a little bit. We can go back one more time and show you. It's so subtle, but it's an inch or two. That's all it takes. You know what I mean?
is all it takes for sure. But you were talking about how hard he was diving into the corners. Could sense some aggressive action was going to happen. He did come up a little bit, but that 81 is also coming down. So just meeting in the middle is going to cause that incident almost every single time. And 81 gets away with it. The 33, I'm sure he's got destroyed suspension and all that, because you can't hit the wall driver's side much harder at Kentucky.
Yeah, he's going to be parked on pit road for quite some time. Back on the other side of the racetrack, though, the 84 of Seth Hatchell has led every single lap so far. We're 11 laps into this race on lap number 12. Big shout out to everybody that took over V-Speed 1. Eddie Smith, Alec Martinez, Connor Horn. You guys ran it perfectly well. I enjoyed every bit of that. And a shout out to Kevin Hazelwood, the Friday night co-commentator on V-Speed, for everything he does at the VRX World Cup. You guys made it so seamless and easy for me to just relax and not have a care in the world. Not that I would have been functional anyway, but I didn't have to worry about anything. I appreciate that, guys.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty simple getting through last week. Even with the yellows we had, Eddie Smith had a ball last week and Saturday night, so that was fun as we get ready to go for the restart. Do have to note some strategy going on here. Hatchell, Sweeting, Sturgill, Massey, and Lucas Lyons all stayed out. Taylor Butcher Benjamin restarts 6th. I believe he only took fuel only. And Jeff Wright, I believe, is the first one who was on 4 tires. So some tire and fuel strategy may be coming into play here.
Well, you knew it was coming. Caution on lap 10. Tires did get warmed up enough. We've seen it's tough to pass. Prime example, Carlisle and the 33 of Servato. But nonetheless, pace car pulls off. We're ready to go back green for the second time here tonight. 84 of Seth Hatchell hits the loud pedal, and we're back live and racing Saturday night.
Right already to the apron, making spots up, immediately getting by the 09. They're 4 wide, banging doors, cars sideways. Lucas Lyons, McWhorter, they're still looking 4 wide. That was hectic. Oh, Jeff Wright spins!
That's the 48 of Jeff Wright going around down the backstretch.
Oh, look out. Somehow everyone missed him.
Trying to get a camera on him. He made an aggressive move down to the bottom and paid for it quickly.
Well, that will be a development here for sure, as maybe definitely one of the fastest cars in the field are going to be coming from the rear after that slide. And after taking a set of tires, you kind of just used them up. So now you can waste another set or just have to race on that set as we'll go another V-Speed instant replay. You can see Massey and Lyons bang doors. I don't think Klinger hit him there. Oh, yeah, he just got loose.
He got loose down on the bottom. Klinger hit him after the fact. But it was, I mean, these guys were going to make it out of that corner 4 wide. That's incredible. Let's go on the blimp camera and show you how insane this restart is.
You see the wheel spin happen. I think Lucas Lyons got the worst of it. Right immediately goes below that yellow line, which is legal. They already get 3x3. Lyons up the track. That's where the contact with Massey happened.
Touch, yep.
And then the 48 just loses it on his own. Klinger had nothing he could do, but everyone else was going to make it out of that corner. So great driving there. This is where I got worried. Here comes right up the track. Alex Bell barely avoids him as race leader Seth Hatchell is going to come down now, as well as Chuck Sweeting.
Let's ride on board with the 15 of Bell.
Ooh, look out. It's the slowest he's seen that 48 car go all season.
Wow. Well played, well played.
Lies detected as a few others will pit here. As, like I said, Hatchell and Sweeting, the top 2 pit. for tires. Caustic and Cunningham will come out alongside. I'm not sure if they took tires or not. Obviously, Jeff Wright, I think he had no choice but to come down and get another set, or at least take fuel. I think he did only take fuel. So a few others factoring fuel in this. We've seen it happen in the mile and a half. Fuel has come into play depending on the runs we get. This could be another one of those races.
Well, and we look at the track we were at last week with Richmond, these guys right on top of each other. There's still some scores to settle in the aggressive driving, the mentality. We're coming down to the end of the season. We're past the halfway point. Some of these guys are so thirsty that they're willing to do whatever it takes to make up those points and make up positions. We're going to see some aggressive driving these next 2-3 weeks until we find the cutoff. And some of these guys are trying to get that last win or that last spot in the points to make the cutoff. It's going to get crazy.
No doubt about that. It's already gotten crazy tonight with 2 quick yellows. Not what we've really been accustomed to at these mile and a halves this season. We've had pretty green races at the mile and a halves we've gone to. Vegas, we had 3 cautions, but that was a flurry of late cautions there. And then Texas caution-free. Kansas, I believe, also went caution-free. So really mile and a half races this season, only 3 cautions at all, and they all came at Vegas. So already almost doubling the count we had. As could be what we're in store for tonight. We'll just have to see.
I pray that's not the case. I really pray that's not the case. These guys have spoiled us all season long. We had an average of 0.5 cautions the first 4 weeks we raced. These guys did an excellent job. Even with Daytona being the opener of the season, these guys did a good enough job that we didn't have to worry too much.
Yeah, went caution free there as well. You know, if we take out Martinsville and Bristol, those caution averages go well down. So trying to look through the field. Still got 21 of our drivers are running. Jonathan Cofield dropped out because of his internet, and Stravato's still getting damage repairs. So 21 drivers left right now, all on the lead lap.
15 of Alex Bell briefly blinking out there, and so the weather affecting pretty much the entire East Coast at this point. Anybody from Pittsburgh East is getting slammed, and I can attest that it's pretty nasty weather out there. Stay safe, everybody. If you're watching us currently, pay attention to your radar if you're in those areas, because the severe weather threat through tonight is pretty high. The index has kind of tripled since the evening started, and so I can only hope that things stay calm and quiet and you guys can enjoy this broadcast. Nobody's power gets knocked out. 18 laps into this race, we've got Michael Sturgill going to start on the outside of Joseph McWhorter, Ray Massey, Chad Klinger, and Lucas Lyons, all your top 5. TBB, as he's known now. I didn't get the memo on that. I'm going to start in the 6th position with Caleb Weekly. Lucas Lyons kind of falling back there, shuffling around on me. Eric Hutton, Max Cost, and Jared Swain in the 42. Here we come. Pace car going to pull off this time by.
And we got Sturgill still on old tires. Also Lyons as well. So we're going to have to note that and see what they can do and see if they can not fall that far down.
Barney's got the flag up in the air. Green flag out. And we're back for the third time, actually, here on the green flag, Saturday night style. Already challenging for the lead, the 73 of Joseph McWhorter takes it away from Michael Sturgill. He got some laps led under caution, but not able to lead the one under green.
Yeah, you could tell he spun his tires pretty badly on that restart and just could not do anything when he got into turn 3 on the bottom. So 73 gets to the point, and Chad Klinger is going to be the one to try to follow him through as those top 3 kind of got away as Sturgill, you see no grip through the center of the corner to really do anything about the 09 getting to his inside.
13 to Caleb Weekly on the inside of, I believe, the 52 of Lucas Lyons. He's going to go around that. And some big time racing just inside the top 10. You've got the 63 of Max Cost fighting off Jared Swain right now.
Swain trying to get through the field, back through the field. He's back into the top 10 at the very least in that position, as he's still running higher. He's been the one driver I've seen high up the track more than anyone else, as McFadden just had a slide, but he saved it. But you can see it works entering, but get on exit, it gets squeezed, a little bit of too much of a squeeze, running out of real estate, and that's where he loses his time. As here comes Sweeting and Carwile under him, and also Jeff Wright already back up here.
Jeff Wright lost a lot of positions on that spin, but works his way up to 12th now. Started in the 3rd spot. He's still got a lot of work to do to get back to it. And another guy that started up there in that top 3, that's Chuck Sweeting. He's back to 11th. So the tire, the fuel strategies, all the things we got going on in this racetrack starting to pan out. If they can go green, it might pay off.
Yeah, this battle's just starting to somewhat sort out a little bit, as the top 3 are still well clear. Caution, we got a wreck in the back. That's Brandon Wallace and Mark McFadden into the wall.
McFadden getting the worst end of that. The front end pancaked against the outside wall coming out of 4.
Oh no, Brandon Wallace got a big chunk as well.
He's got the left side completely pushed in. Let's go back and take an instant replay and find out what happened to these boys.
It was near the rear of the field, as Wallace is well behind. Ooh, McFadden got a bump. I think that's Donald. Wow, what a hit. See here, McDonald was behind him. Yeah, he just got a shove there and then almost on his side. In fact, he might have been on his side and hit the wall very hard.
So we're going to watch this from the rear bumper of Mark McFadden. Let's see this touch. Right?
Oh, yeah.
On the right rear. Yeah, that's going to send you around every time.
So that
in
will
the 99. Nowhere to go.
Yeah, nowhere to go, as he just got out of pit lane to beat the pace car, Lightning McQueen style. So stay on the lead lap with a lot of damages. Had some drivers come down this time by to top off on fuel. One of them being Alex Bell, Stravato, McDonald, Caustic, Lyons, Cunningham, and McFadden. McFadden in that incident, obviously, but that was the first thing Alex Bell said. He was like, oh, thank God this might not be a fuel race anymore. So he clearly thinks that it's not going to come down to it anymore after that, as he's the first one off pit road out of those guys.
Well, I can tell you from past experience, these races go in caution and caution and caution. Eventually, these guys break out, and they have a long green flag run, and you start to sort out who has new tires, who has old tires. 12 laps compared to some of these guys might have 4 fresh ones. The 48 car who came back down pit road, he's already up somewhere near the top 5 at one point. He's done it twice. He's now just outside the top 10 with Chuck Sweeting right in front of him. These two guys could be in the top 3 if we get a long green flag run.
Yeah, if we get a run, they'll definitely get closer to the front, especially that 48. But it is a good job by Chuck Sweeting to stay ahead of him and kind of drive him through the field. But it could also be Wright saving his tires and making Chuck Sweeting do the dirty work. So we'll just have to see. They've both gotten separated from the guy who was leading this race, Seth Hatchell, as Wright is 11th, Chuck Sweeting's 10th. Seth Hatchell's in 14th, so he has not gotten through the field as well, as I believe we get 2 laps to green here, as Hatchell is the last driver who didn't top off or take tires last time by. Alex Bell will restart right behind him.
Off the exit of turn 2, you can tell McWhorter is sitting pretty right now. He has Chad Klinger on the inside, Michael Sturgill, Ray Massey in TBB, Taylor Butcher Benjamin in 5th spot. Then you go a little bit further back, Eric Hutton, Caleb Weekly, Ryan Carwile, Max Cost, and Chuck Sweeting to round out your top 10. Been a decent one so far, 25 laps, and we've had 3 cautions. You think all the scores are settled from Richmond? Lights should go out on the pace car this time by.
Most likely should. Wallace still repairing damage. McFadden still has damage. See McDonald, he had damage. He got his repaired, as still looking to see if we get a long run how the 90 will will drive. He's still the first one up there who has not taken tires at all. As you got 6 total sets tonight, which means you got 5 extras. So honestly, that means you take a set pretty frequently. Logically, they would have taken one by now to just split it evenly. So a little shocking he didn't take tires, but we've seen at these mile and a halves how important track position is. He probably figures at this point, he's in it at this point. If he pits now, he'll go way to the back. So I think he wants track position over a fresh set of tires at this point.
Well, you made your bed, you got to lay in it sometimes, and being up here in the top 3, it's kind of tough to give up all that track position. You might be the one of 4 cars that come down pit road. And we saw how that panned out for the 48 of Jeff Wright, where he got spun. Well, he lost control and then spun. So it kind of puts you in a different situation. 33 of AJ Stravato, he's now getting tires on that 33 car. He's going to be 14 laps down, but should be coming back out on the racetrack here momentarily.
Just have to wait and see as Wallace will finally pull away. The front end of that thing still destroyed, but we're getting back going. Still got a long way to go. I think this time by will be 114 laps, so still a long way to go. Got to get in the groove as McWhorter leads him down again.
Chad Klinger on the inside of Joseph McWhorter. Green flag up in the air, and we're back live and racing. Let's see if we can have a green flag run.
At this point, we're willing them to get a green flag run as clean at the front. Klinger cleared to second. Sturgill slides in front of Ray Massey for third as at 23 still trying to look to his outside but can't do it. Oh, we're 3-4 wide in the back as we are 4 wide. Jeff Wright trying to split bottom middle. Can't do it. That hole closed by Costin Weekly. So they're still 3 wide. This is how wild these restarts get. This track is sneaky wide.
Still 3 wide with Chuck Sweeting, the 13 of Weekly in the middle. Max Koss down on the bottom, a little lift on the throttle here for the 48. He has to back it down. Let these guys sort it out. But as you alluded to, these restarts, they've been chaotic. Koss just inside the top 10. We're looking back at Caleb Weekly now off the rear bumper of the 63. It hasn't settled down from 10th on back.
But it's not, but we are single file throughout. Well, not really single file throughout the top 7. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Ryan Carwell, that's side by side for the 6th position as the 10 starts to slide a little bit. Chuck Sweeting's already up to the 7th spot. He's got away from the 48. He's actually up to 8th. He's got the 8th spot. He's got at least 1 car in between him and the 48, which is pretty key, but we'll see how long it takes for Jeff Wright to get by. Cost, wow, big slide for the 63, but he kept it straight there as here comes Seth Hatchell trying to get back into the race.
Koss just lost it there on the exit of 2, and that lost a lot of speed. Able to recover and stick on the bumper. He has Jeff Wright all over him.
Oh man, Bell just had a big slide out of turn number 4 as well, as he's not having a great restart here as that 48 is pressuring him as he'll go to the bottom. Also blinks out. That's part of his move, I think, as Cost went way up the track. As getting word, 84 jumped the last. Well, Reggie Ortega in Race Control said that 84 jumped the last restart. I'm not sure if he means this one or the previous one, but he jumped something, but he is still getting up into the top 10 with that.
Well, he's worked his way from starting on the pole, outside of the top 10, now back up to the 10th spot.
So you can see these top 3 have just rocketed away as the battles right now for 4th. Eric Hutton has worked his way into the top 5 after starting 10th. He's pressuring Ray Massey. He's also gone up 5 spots, 9th to 4th. Look out, that is the 99 off pace, letting everyone by nice and safely. As this battle is raging on, as here comes that 48 for the 7th position now, as he got by Chuck Sweeting, now going by the 10.
Trying to get by Caleb Butcher Benjamin for 7th. He'll do that into turn 1 on the outside of Eric Hutton. Just in front of him is Ryan Carwile. Hutton's going to hold it down there and maybe get a run on Massey for 4th. Doesn't happen. Carwile gets to the outside now in 3 and 4. Almost
Massey.
3 wide.
Oh, he's looking to the middle. Massey's really struggling and holding these guys up, but Hutton just cannot get the run off the top, up off the corner because of that top line from Ray Massey. They're 2 by 2, like we're at Daytona. We've got pack racing at Old Kentucky.
That allows the top 4 to pretty much check out here, or top 3 rather. That's what you want to see in your rearview mirror if you're the 90 of Sturgill right now on these older tires.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needed. I was about to allude to the same thing. Him up being on old tires, he'd be falling back if that wasn't happening, but this is helping a lot. Massey will not give this spot up, and it is holding about maybe 3/4 dozen cars up right now, so this is an insane battle fourth on back right now. The battle is heating up a little bit for the lead. Klinger is on the rear bumper of Joseph McWhorter, but not quite making a move yet.
2x2 from 4th position all the way back to the 10.
We got a battle for the lead. Here comes the 09. Chad Klinger's under McWhorter.
Side by side off of turn 4 for the lead. Klinger doesn't have enough, and it's going to settle back out. Back here again. The 48 of Jeff Wright is able to get around, finally get around Ray Massey. And Chuck Sweeting trying to find his hole now.
Yep, Massey's starting to drop back. Everyone's starting to get to that bottom line to get by him. So Hutton gets to 4th, not for long. Here comes Wright going the long way around. Entering 3, got to his outside. We'll see which way Carwile wants to go about this, as looks like he'll try to get to the right rear of Hutton. Sweeting also got by Ray Massey at 23, struggling.
Coming off of turn 4, it's kind of settled back out to what we had at the start of this race. Jeff Wright has a lot of ground to make up, though. 3 seconds to the lead. Because of this pack that was racing, he has about 1.6 seconds to Michael Sturgill, who has about, 14, 15 lap older tires?
Yeah, his tires are much older than the rest of the field even, but he's doing a good job holding them up right now. Well, just holding up right now as 48 this time by catches him by about 2.5 tenths. So that gap will come down, but not anytime soon. Step out of the lead. 09 just cannot get around McWhorter, so they'll stay single file as Carwile up to 5th. Hutton starting to fall back now.
Yeah, Eric Hutton was up in that top 5. He got passed by Jeff Wright for the 5th position, and since then he's fallen back to 7th. He has Chuck Sweeting on the outside, who's going to get the run off of 4 and complete that pass for the 6th position. Just behind them, Seth Hatchell, the guy that started on the pole. He was looking solid. Now, not so much. Kind of struggling here.
Making his way back through the field, but a little bit slower, just struggling in the dirty air and just not making up the time he needs to. Wow, not making up the time he needs to on these restarts as Sweeting dives to the bottom of Carwile.
Sweeting might have touched the wall there, but he was just had so much momentum coming off of 2. He had nowhere else to go but to drive to the bottom. He's going to take it down into 1 and complete this pass. That's for 5th.
I think it might have been Carwile who hit the wall and forced Sweeting to make that dive to the bottom. So 81 looks clean, didn't do anything to that Subaru Impreza. As Eric Hutton's going to try to get back to him as the battle is now for 10th. In fact, that battle's over. Big Max Cost missed turn 2. Lucas Lyons gets back up past him. The Lions, I believe, did pit for tires finally, so he should be on some of the freshest tires in the race.
Looking for the back of Max Cost at Lucas Lyons and Caleb Weekly. Actually, Taylor Butcher Benjamin and Caleb Weekly. Those two side by side for a couple laps now. This is outside the top 10 for the 12th spot. There's Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He started here. He hasn't fallen off, and he's been one of the most consistent drivers this season. Always in the hunt for a top 10.
Yeah, very consistent this season, trying to get another one here as we got a pit stop. Michael Sturgill's going to pit from 3rd. Once again, he had taken fuel, I believe, but he did not take tires, but he's going to come down now.
So there's the 90 down on pit road. Kind of factor in, he might be on a different fuel strategy as well because of this situation. But nonetheless, down pit road for the 90.
Yeah, alternate strategies sometimes work out. Saw it in IndyCar today with Scott Dixon, so we'll see what that happens. I just thought he'd be able to go a little longer with the yellow. So Chad Klinger pits, so this is clearly planned, I would say. Has to be.
Yeah, these guys staying on the same page. Chad Klinger down pit road. No other takers yet. I tell you what, if this is the strategy for the 09 and the 90, They must have had a game plan before we came into this race, and they've stuck to it.
I would suppose so. The 09 came in on the caution lap 12, so this is only 30 laps on tires and fuel. So it is a little odd to see that happen, but it will come down as a... trying to see what happened there. Thought Chad Klinger had a penalty. I just think that was a normal pit stop. He's down and away. The 90's back on track. And all of a sudden, Joseph McWhorter, instead of battling hard for the lead, he's got a 2.5 second lead.
By my side here for the 7th position, the 52 of Lucas Lyons goes around Ray Massey. Massey has fallen off quite a few spots. He was up there in the top 5 a moment ago. He started in 8th. He's only one down from where he began this race. But it just seems like some of these guys haven't quite figured out the long run.
Yeah, you got a lot of guys struggling right now, including that 23 who's fallen back a little bit here. Also trying to... 42, 43 have fallen back. Steve McDonald struggling with damage. And one thing I'm concerned about with the strategy for Klinger and Sturgill is how are they going to be able to get through all the traffic? These guys probably aren't going to pit for too much longer. He's going to have to really drive hard to get by these guys quick. He's going to have to make moves like that, 3 wide to the bottom, to get through quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, Klinger didn't waste any time. He came off the pit road. He dove to the bottom on the backstretch. He gets around, now opening up the door for Alex Bell inside of Max Cost for 12. And Bell has, actually in 19th, he might have hit pit road as well. He might have missed that.
He did miss that. Wasn't too long. Couldn't have been too long ago. As
he's being labeled as 1 lap down as well.
Honestly, I think he had an internet issue. He never saw pit. I think his internet went out and he was off track so long he lost the lap, which is really unfortunate. But at the very least, if Chad Klinger can get his lap back, he'll be the lucky dog. But internet issues plaguing a few drivers tonight. It's the reason the 58's out of the race, and also the 15 having more trouble.
Jeff Wright up to the 2nd position, but he has a very hungry Chuck Sweeting very close by. Less than 0.2 of a second separating these two. Sweeting, I know, is a fast driver. He hasn't really shown that strength yet this season. He's had some bad luck. He's had a few situations. He did get a top 3, and I want to say that was at Charlotte, if I remember correctly.
Oop, got some more pit stops. As I'll try to see if he did get a top 3 there. Trying to see who that was Ray Massey. No surprise there. He was struggling on the long run.
So the 23 Massey down pit road as well.
And he got a 2nd at Texas. That's where his top 3 came from.
Okay.
You haven't gone to Charlotte, I don't think.
They all blend together for me at this point.
Not wrong. Not too. That was Old Texas too, so similar to Charlotte. As 23's down. No one else this time. As, look at how fast Michael Sturgill's passing some of these guys in the background. He just flew by maybe 4 cars down the front straightaway.
New tires at this place will make you feel like you're on rails. Watch him pull away from this pack behind him. That is 9th on back. Caustic, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. They didn't stand a chance against these new tires.
They did not, as Sturgill got through. He's trying to keep pace with the 09 of Klinger. It was not this far behind his 09, so he lost some time in the cycle, but trying to gain some of it back now with clean air for a little while before he gets to Lucas Lyons, who's having a solid run in 7th so far. That pack back there is wild, and about for 2nd. The Sweden can't do much with right now, but is keeping pace. And that pack is still trying to sort himself out 8th on back, as it looks like Michael Kostik's pulling away from Taylor Butcher Benjamin.
Jeff Wright got a little loose there on the entrance of 3, and that does open up the door for 2nd. And Jeff Wright might lose it to Chuck Sweeting here in 1.
That was a odd. He's just going to give it up here, as I think he's saving fuel. I think we are still getting some fuel strategy here. I did not hear that 48's engine.
Taking out, listen on board here with the 48 and see what we hear. I hear clutch pedal.
Yeah, that's definitely a fuel strategy thing, which Alex Bell must have been wrong. He thought it wasn't going to be fuel strategy anymore, but 48's clutch and the lack of engine noise is saying otherwise. He just had to let Chuck Sweeting go.
And that might be why that car got so loose on the entrance of the corner. It's unusual to see this car get upset until the exit when you get on the throttle, but when you come in off the engine brake and have that clutch pedal, you're kind of skateboarding into the corner.
Joel Swain pit from 12th, so still a slow trickle of drivers in. We'll see if Jared comes in, as Chad Klinger just got his lap back from the 73. As 90 won't be too far behind, as, yep, Jared Swain's going to come down as well, as a few more drivers still battling for position. Eric Hutton, one of those, is almost looks like he's in the same scenario, starting to save some fuel, letting some drivers by.
43 down and away. The 42 of Jared Swain now into pit road. No other takers yet. McWhorter with that lead of about 2 seconds. He might consider taking it down pit road here if the 90 car catches him.
There's no doubt about it. Regardless of when he pits, the 90 and the 09 are going to have a gap. It's just a matter of what strategy is going to work out. Seems to me if they're pitting lap 40, they're committed to maybe a 2-stop, because there's no way you're going maybe even a 3-stop. It might be tight. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out, but it's going to be another race of just a lot of strategies. This battle for 4th is getting pretty wild.
That's Ryan Carwile and Seth Hatchell side by side. And good to see Hatchell work his way back up into the top 5. After starting on that pole, we know he's got the speed. He just hasn't had the opportunity to show it quite yet.
Got some more stops. Taylor Butcher-Benjamin pit from 9th and Max Cost pit from 12th. So they will start seeing some more drivers trickle down in the pit lane more often. As no one seemingly this time from the front runners. McWhorter's not even there yet, so can't say that. But this battle for 4th is kind of saving Jeff Wright from dropping even more track position here. He's able to stay in front of these guys as they start throwing sliders on one another.
Hutton really hungry to get around the back of Ryan Carwile, who was trying to pass the 84. These guys have been side by side for about 5 laps. It settles down, and Jeff Wright now probably going to be under fire if he's still clutching it.
Caleb Weekly pit from the 9th position. I think I heard Carwile saying he was pitting. Swears low. I think he might be. I think that's a sign right there, as the leader McWhorter's also in.
Hutton going to follow him into pit road.
So leaders in. Battle for 5th comes in, as we'll have to make sure. Let's see, Hutton has a stall before the 81, so that's a smart move by Hutton. He passed the 81 on entry, forced them into lifting. That is cheeky, but it is a very smart move from the 88.
Excellent job getting into their pit stalls. And we've stayed clean and green since about lap 25. Now Chuck Sweeting coming down pit road.
Sweeting's in. 48 will stay out, maybe trying to get rid of a stop for the 48. As now the battle for the lead is between him and Hatchell.
On the outside, you know, Jeff is still clutching it, taking his time. Down the backstretch, it looks like Hatchell's going to take it over.
He'll get back to the front after Jeff Wright got that lap led. McWhorter's out just ahead of Alex Bell, as trying to see where he came out in regards to the 90s, well behind 90 at 09, so that shows how much tires matter. Those guys pit very early, about 15-20 laps earlier than the main leaders. Well, then the main strategy. They have a big gap. 09 will definitely cycle around.
As it sits right now, Chad Klinger will probably be your leader after it's all said and done. I have to wait and see, though, because these tires are starting to even out. With the situation that Chad Klinger and the strategy that him and the 90 of Sturgill a little bit further behind. Talking about 4/10 of a second, or 4 seconds rather, separating these two.
And yeah, and the tire difference is not that much. As a matter of fact, I think Sturgill's might be fresher. No, Sturgill's are a little older, but he just did not have a good cycle for the 09 to beat him out by as much as he did. So we'll see what happens here, how the strategy work out. Looks like the 48's on the apron as Hatchell pits as well. Yep, both of them in.
So able to stretch that run out a little bit longer than everyone else. That could make a difference, though. That's, what, 2-3 laps to the guys that were leading this thing. Joseph McWhorter, Chuck Sweeting.
Definitely a little longer than Sweeting, and a little, maybe 2-3 laps longer than McWhorter, but these guys will kind of benefit from that, have some fresher tires for this next run. Don't speed, don't miss your box. 48 very gingerly in. I was wondering if he was maybe out of fuel, but he makes his box all clean.
Down here on pit road, the 84 of Seth Hatchell was leading this race. The 52 is going to take it over. Lucas Lyons, he's going to get a lap led. That's 2 laps led now for the 52. How far can he go? Michael Kostick, who is about 2-3 seconds behind, letting some of these guys on fresher tires go on around. He'll probably be the next group of cars. Here comes the 52 diving it down to the bottom. I think he's coming in.
Who's the guy? He pit last caution, lap 25. So this is about 36 laps he's went on this tank. So I think he can go a little longer than that and chose not to, as that will put Kostick to the race lead. Steve McDonald yet to pit, Daniel Cunningham as well. Chad Klinger is even a little bit further behind those guys. Cunningham just came down, so still got 3 drivers yet to pit.
So, and we cycle out the 09 of Klinger ever so closer to the lead, and he separates himself from Joseph McWhorter about 3-4 seconds.
Here comes Kostick. McDonald will follow him in, so that should cycle things out for the time being.
I said 4 seconds, I meant 8 seconds. It's a big gap here for the 09 over the 73. 73 just now getting into turn 3. Chad Klinger goes across the start-finish line.
So he's going to have a big gap to work with. He might still pit from the lead with how much earlier he pit. Alex Bell pits as well, but he was already lapped down because of the internet. So he pit lap 42, I believe. Lap 41, actually. So he's probably still 20 laps away from his next pit, maybe even less, considering what the strategy might be. But this could work out for the 09 if he could just put down solid, fast laps.
This all cycled out. Klinger into the lead. Jeff Wright falls all the way back to the 12th spot, but he does have some fresher tires than the guys in front of him. We're talking about 3 laps on this set compared to the 4 cars in front of him who have over 5.
So we'll see what he's able to do here, as obviously he's fast to get back through there. His next victim's Ray Massey, who pit very long ago. That'll be easy. Then Joel Swaim, Taylor Butcher-Benjamin. And Seth Hatchell is the real one he's looking for. That's the one who he pit closest to, if not actually they pit the same lap. So he's trying to chase that 84 down as well.
Blinkers there on the inside. That's a 42 of Swain.
Oh,
and he's going to pull down. Yeah, he's going to pull down off the track and let these guys go by.
Came back on. Now he's side by side with his teammate. Blinks out again. Not what you want to see if you're Jeff Wright. You just got to pick a lane and hope he doesn't blink into you. As this is the worst part. Oh, I think Jeff Wright, he doesn't know where he is, and he slid because of it. Just giving him all the room in the world.
Able to make quick work of that. And as far as admin privileges and everything, guys are definitely communicating with the 42. They've communicated with Alex Bell. There's a few different drivers that have had blinking issues here tonight. Track stewards make sure that they take care of those situations. Michael Sturgill, 4 seconds back from Chad Klinger, who's led 4 laps so far. He's got older tires, but he's in the lead. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with you Saturday Night Racing League at Kentucky Speedway live on V-Speed right after this.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Back here live for the Saturday Night Racing League at Kentucky Speedway. We've completed over half the laps here tonight, 71 out of 140. You're back here live on V-Speed. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Connor Horn and Chad Klinger leading this race. He's led 10 laps thus far. He's ticking them away.
The race's coming to an end soon, though. Joseph McWhorter, 14-lap fresher tires, has cut that lead below a second at this point. And don't look now, but at the 75, Chuck Sweeting pit a lap after the 73, so those two are going to be in a battle, as well as the 73 looks for the lead most likely in the next lap.
A big separation on tires. We're talking over 15 laps as these guys wind it down. Different strategies. We've seen it play out. Onana Klinger has been the strategist all season long. It's put him in some top 3 situations, but it's yet to pay off for a win when it comes to strategy. He did get the win last week at Richmond, as you said. Now that momentum trying to carry here over to Kentucky. Can he do it?
Just have to wait and see, going for 2 in a row, but it's just going to all come down to how strategies pan out as McWhorter goes back to the front after he led the earlier portion of this race. After it went green, Joseph McWhorter leads once again. Chuck Sweeting with a big gap behind him trying to chase him down. He passed Sturgill, did not look back. The gap is between those two is 4 seconds as Sturgill starts to lose more positions to Eric Hutton and Ryan Carwell, Seth Hatchell as well.
Sturgill side by side to Hutton, just off of 2. Hutton's going to take the position away. Now Carwell on the outside. Hatchell going to follow suit.
Sturgill pitting again. Yes, he is. Here he comes.
So the 90 is going to maybe force the hand of Klinger. These guys are right at that window where everybody else pit, but they pit late comparatively. Now the 09 of Klinger loses second position to Sweeting. I think we're going to see the 09 come down pit road this time.
So no doubt those guys are going into a 3-stop, while maybe the guys like the 48-75, a few others who have been saving trying to go 2-stop. So I think those are the 2 strategies we're seeing here, as we'll see which ones work out. With the fall-off we've seen, it'll be possible, but Sturgill's got a lot to make up as here comes Klinger. He did force his hand.
So there's the 09 down pit road. The 73 of Joseph McWhorter has 39 laps led. He has a hungry Chuck Sweeting right behind him with no laps led, 2 laps led technically during the pit stop cycles. So what do you see? We're less than a second here between the 73 and the 75. But we also have the 09 to contend with. And then the different strategies with Jeff Wright saving the fuel. Who's going to come out on top of this race?
It's going to be tough. I think the 09's the big winner out of the 3-stoppers, the guys who are committing to that at least. But the guys who are trying 2-stops like Jeff Wright, we know that 48 saving fuel. But guys like McWhorter and Sweeting who are going to be most likely on a similar strategy, these guys aren't saving fuel. They're racing right now. So you got almost like 3 strategies going. You got guys committing to the 3-stop. You got guys like Jeff Wright committing to trying to 2-stop. And you got these guys at the front, McWhorter and Sweeting, and maybe even throw Hatchell Hutton in there. Aren't really committing either way. They're just running hard and hoping it works out. So I've got my eyes on Jeff Wright. Big surprise there, because I think he was the first one to commit to saving fuel, and I think that might win him this race. But still got such a long way to go. We don't quite know what will work out and what won't.
Yeah, they're kind of in that gray area from the 73, 75, all the way back to Ryan Carwell. These guys have just kind of ran the race and not paid much attention to mileage and pit stops. So it's going to be interesting if any of these top 5 can figure out a way to make this race work out. Then you have the 09 that they're going to just commit to the 3-stopper. I think that they're actually going to end up finishing ahead of this top 5 because of that, because they already know they're not going to make it on fuel.
Yeah, the only thing that those two at the front got going for them is they've got a big gap above everyone else behind them. They've got 4 seconds on Seth Hatchell, who cycled out the third, but Hatchell is closing out on them a little bit because he pit later, saying that their times were pretty even last time by. So I would have to agree. I think the 09's in a great spot right now if they can't make it on fuel very easily because he's got no one to contend with on this strategy. Michael Sturgill's a ways back.
Yeah, it's just as it pans out, the more I look at it mathematically, these guys only going about 34 laps. I think that the top 5 are kind of in a bad situation where if they don't get a yellow, they might have to make that third stop, and they're going to be really off from what the 09 and the 90 have been doing. But I think Jeff Wright, and who's the other one that was, I think it was Seth Hatchell in the 84. They kind of went on the same strategy there with the long pit, so they might be able to make it 2 stops.
Eric Hutton just came down pit lane, so there's got to be another driver committing to a 3 stop here, just a little later than the others, so he comes down. Taylor Butcher Benjamin from 9th is also down, so I think these are, you can group these guys in as well as they're committing to 3 stop. They know they can't make it on 2 stops.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that they figured it out a little bit too late. That's going to benefit the 90 and the 09. Currently back in the 17th position for Chad Klinger. He has Michael Sturgill about 5 seconds back from him. Both these drivers a lap down, but as it all cycles through with the pit stops, going to be back up in the top 5.
We'll get there eventually. So we'll just have to wait and see. Everyone pit. Top 2 will stay out, not only because they need to go longer on fuel, but because they're battling for the lead right now. Pretty close between the 73 and 75 right now.
Riding on board with Eric Hutton as he comes back out off pit road. Chad Klinger, Michael Sturgill, 5 seconds ahead. Battle's shaping up for the lead. It's getting closer. 2 tenths separating out of 4.
And now it's, instead of 09 and 90 being pretty far and away, it's the 73 and 75. Although Hatchell has closed the gap half a second, he's still not really in range. Carwell's another 1.5 seconds behind that. As a very spread out field of this race right now with all the fuel and tire strategy and just lack of pace from some drivers. You still got these two on top of one another.
Sweeting sees the lead right in front of him. He closes the gap in 1 and 2, gives it all back down the back straightaway. The last time by, you can see that run that the 73 McWhorter gets out of the exit. Now here at 3 and 4, can Sweeting shave that lead a little bit more? Because last time he gave it all back. Looks like he's going to bring it down pit road.
He's just going to undercut him straight up here as he pit lap 56 last run, and this was a much shorter run, so clearly got to be another driver. No way you're going to be able to go. We have not seen anyone go more than maybe 40 laps on a tank tonight, so there's got to be another driver committing to the 3 stop as well. So really wondering where Jeff Wright's going to land on this, as he's been saving for a while now, as he is still saving back and forth.
Riding on board with the 48, you can hear the clutch pedal being pushed. Drops it down to 2,000 RPMs and idle back onto the throttle. And there goes Ryan Carwile down pit road.
And he followed the leader McWhorter in, so we'll see where the 73 cycles out compared to the 75. It almost looks like Jeff Wright's going to be on an island here. I don't think anyone else is even thinking about saving.
Still.
Hatchell is out there.
And I remember last time he pit with the 48, so whatever he's doing, if he's half throttling it down the corner, as you can see the 90 of Sturgill catching up to him on fresher tires. He's been able to pit with the 48 thus far.
And he is not clutching and coasting. I think he topped off on the last yellow and the 48 didn't, so could have something to do with it as well, but we'll just have to see what the mileage on the 84 is this time. As if he's going to try to cut a stop out, he's going to have to battle the 48 for it, and you can see the gap is big between those two right now.
Listen again here for the clutch pedal into 3. He does. If he can make it, man, that's just going to be close. That's pushing it really far here.
Yeah, it is pushing it really far, and it then shifts the focus to the first guy on the 3-stop who's committed to it is Chad Klinger. Obviously, we keep saying it. Gap between him and Seth Hatchell's 26 seconds right now, so that's going to have to come down a little more after the 09 pits again, as we know they will. Everyone has to make at least one more stop at this point.
2 cars off the track, Jonathan Cofield and AJ Stravato. Stravato got into the outside wall, tried to repair that machine, but got so many laps down, he parked it for the night. Seth Hatchell, your leader, he's led 18 of them in a very similar cycle with Jeff Wright. They're both 29 laps on this stint with no saving fuel, though. I believe the 48 car is going to be out here on the track well after the rest of these guys pit.
It's just a matter of will that track position win him the race. We'll just have to see. So once again, we've still only seen maybe a max of 42 laps on the tank, and that was Sturgill earlier in the race after he didn't pit on the first 3 yellows, and only 3 yellows we had. So we had 3 caution laps to do that. I think last time Jeff Wright is at least trying to go 39 laps this time, so he can maybe go 40 on the final run. It was all going to be hectic, as he did not make it that far on the previous run. It is going to be close, and I'm excited to see what works and what doesn't.
52 car, Lucas Lyons in the 3rd spot, and he's got 28 laps on his fuel. Caleb Weekly in the 4th position, started in 8th. Tay on the hood. Tell you what, all the different cycles and strategies, they've put some of these guys that play these games in their heads in great situations.
Weekly as he took the camera off him pit, but yeah, I've got so many drivers running at the front that you would not see normally because of all this crazy strategy. Lucas Lyons especially, he's in 3rd right now, which is incredible, as you were saying. Steve McDonald, he was involved in our 3rd caution. He's top 5 after all this. Daniel Cunningham 8th, so we'll still have to see how it cycles, but still some good drivers getting some good TV time thanks to these cycles.
There's Stephen McDonald down the back straightaway in the 68 machine. I've always liked the red, black, and white on that scheme. Not sure who painted that, but they did a good job.
No doubt about that. Is the one good thing I gotta say about Jeff Wright being able to clutch and coast is he's probably not too much slower than if he wasn't clutching and coasting. Last time by, he was only a 10th slower than the 84. Ray Massey pits, he was back in 14th. I don't know if he had a penalty we missed, but far back in the field. But not being this, you know, it's easier to do it, easier to save fuel when you don't even really slow your pace down that much to do it. He's not
He's
too far
working
off
that wheel.
Yeah.
We're riding on board with him, and it was a handful out of 3 and 4. Watch him skateboard here as a gyro cam. It is a handful on the exit.
Yeah, when you get back on the power and off the clutch, it completely throws the car for a loop. As you can see here, he's turning right to go left. Shout out to Doc Hudson on that one. You can tell how the tires have gone away. It's not only a stretch on fuel right now, what he's trying to do, but those tires cannot be in good shape.
34 laps in, Seth Hatchell still out there on the racetrack. He is 3.5 seconds, and he is not saving an ounce of fuel. Hasn't since the green flag pretty much waved on lap 25, and we've got a solid 70 laps into this race under green.
Could just be a case of not having a clutch pedal. I'm not completely sure what his situation is, but always valuable to have one. Jeff Wright's utilizing his. Maybe Seth Hatchell just doesn't have the ability to do that.
We got to program a button on the 84. Give him an Allen wrench.
Anything.
Still the leader is the 84 of Hatchell. Started on the pole. Lucas Lyons still in 3rd. It looks like Michael Kostick lost a position. Chuck Sweeting back out there on the racetrack. He came down pit road. Sweeting back up to 6th position now.
Alex Bell becomes the 2nd casualty of the night to internet. Same issue that took Jonathan Cofield out. Alex Bell's been not removed from the race, but the internet has dropped him out of the race. So if he does not come back, that'll be our 3rd driver out. 2 of them due to internet, 1 due to a crash, as Hatchell continues to lead. No pitting from those guys, and haven't seen anyone else pit in a while. So just waiting on the cycles to play out.
Thought I heard some clutching from the 84 as he went into turns 3 and 4, but I guess I was mistaken. He didn't do it into 1. Hatchell must know something we don't know. I know we're winding down here, 37 laps. Maybe it's the line he's running.
Let's see here. Thought I heard a clutch as well, but not this time. But definitely backing his pace down a little bit to the point where Jeff Wright was almost faster the previous time by. So if you're going to make it 40 laps on the tank, you got to get to 100 because they pit both of them lap 59. So if you get to lap 100 here, you're in a good spot to solidify that you could probably make it on one more extra stop.
33.578 for Seth Hatchell that time by to a 33.958 Jeff Wright. So about 0.2 of a second separating those two.
Here comes Hatchell. Hatchell's only making it to 98 here.
And that's going to allow Jeff Wright to go right on by and take over this lead with about 42 laps to go.
You would think with how early he's clutching in, there's 5 laps to go. But he's still got a long way to go. I think that's just how much fuel he is having to save to make this work. And I just don't know if that's going to be able to work. But he's still got 14 seconds on Chuck Sweeting, who has notably passed Chad Klinger recently. So that would put Sweeting to the lead as far as the 3-stoppers are going. But just look how slow this 48 is inching along.
Well, if he can go 40 on this stint, I don't know that he can go 40 on the next stint. This might be a bad situation for Jeff Wright.
This might be a losing battle, but you said it earlier about strategy. You've laid it with Michael Sturgill when he was on old tires. You laid in your bed. You're stuck with it. Other way around. But you know what I mean. You got to commit to it at this point. You can't back out. You're just going to lose so much track position doing that. So I would not be surprised to see him pit here, and yes, he will. So he got to 100, so he'll have to do 40 more this time by.
He's fast enough that he can do it, but this is not a good spot for these 3-stoppers because they can run it wide open. These guys are probably going to pit about 10 or so laps after Jeff Wright.
Do have to note, he's not the only one who made it to 100. Michael Kostek will pit making it to 100, as will Stephen McDonald and Daniel Cunningham. So a few other drivers joining him on this strategy, as is Hatchell, but Hatchell did not make it as far, so gonna have to really watch the 84.
Change for the lead, though. Chuck Sweeting takes it over. He has Chad Klinger on a little bit older tires behind him. Klinger, who led 11 laps, he's on the 3-stop strategy. He's stuck with it, trying to chase down the 75 here in the closing laps of this race.
It's really going to be McWhorter, Sweeting, and Chad Klinger versus Jeff Wright. I think that's what it's going to come down to, because if it's going to be between those three as far as the 3-stoppers are concerned. But the only driver who's going to beat him on an alternate strategy, I think, is that 48, unless Hatchell can make it. Got a car in the wall in 3. I think Max Koss scraped it, but he's all good. I think the only driver on the 2-stop that can do it is the 48, because I am very skeptical on if Hatchell can make it on fuel.
The thing we're not factoring in is if we have a yellow.
We'll throw the clipboard out the window if that happens. That's all you got to do.
It's just one of those things that we don't really know. The 73 of McWhorter gets around Chad Klinger all over the back bumper, really loose off the 2.
Yeah, big slide as Klinger's going to look back to the bottom to try to take advantage. He won't have the tire to do so. This is a big moment for McWhorter because now he knows he's got to chase down that 75 if he wants a chance at this one. But Chuck Sweeting, I believe, does have fresher tires. Pit lap 84. Actually, McWhorter has fresher tires by a lap, but that 75 is just putting down such good times.
0.2 of a second faster than McWhorter that time by Chad Klinger. He's about a full second slower, over half a second as they come around for lap 105. Chuck Sweeting in the lead in the closing laps of this race. Jared Swain, a little blink there, and that's right in front of Jeff Wright. We're going to take another quick commercial break, go side by side, and then uninterrupted coverage for the remainder of this race. You're watching V-Speed Saturday Night Racing League. We'll be back with you right after this.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Back here for Saturday Night Racing League at Kentucky Speedway. The 09 of Chad Klinger and the 90 of Michael Sturgill bring it down pit road. Closing laps with less than 30 to go. It's going to be a close one. These guys are committed to this 3-stop race, and we talked about all the different strategies. Chuck Sweeting's still out there on the racetrack. Joseph McWhorter. These guys are probably going to bring it down pit road very soon.
And Klinger might force Sweeting and McWhorter's hand here as the 09 gets off of pit road, wheeling off of pit road. Sturgill's a bit too far back at this point, but the 75 will stay another lap. McWhorter's looking like he's going to try to pit. Nope, he was just running a low line as those two go get another lap, stretching the fuel a little longer. Eric Hutton pits. He's 4th as it ran, so the 3-stoppers should not be too far away from all coming down.
Now what we got to ask is, did this pay off for the 48 of Jeff Wright? He was saving fuel pretty much since we went green. And let's see if he's still doing it as we go into turn 1. He is, backing it way up.
He's got, when we look at Chad Klinger, he's got maybe over half a track to him as McWhorter and Sweeting stay out again. The 75, 73 are really the guys to look at, but the 48's gap to the 09 is pretty solid, and the 75 and 73 weren't too much too much further away than the 09, so it's definitely going to be a battle to the end. It's just a matter of when that crossover point will meet for the 48.
As I analyze this, the 81 of Ryan Carwile is turning faster laps than Joseph McWhorter. He's caught up about 0.3 per lap. He's still 5 seconds back, but he could be another guy that makes it a challenge for this top 2.
Little further back at this point, though, as he did not gain that time by. He's 6 seconds behind McWhorter, who's 4 seconds behind Sweeting, so we'll see if he plays a factor. I'm still surprised Sweeting and McWhorter haven't responded. I guess they're on their own strategy, not caring about the 09 of Chad Klinger's strategy, going with their own alternate 3-stop as, once again, they go another lap. Carwile, he will come down from 3rd, though.
1 lap down for Chad Klinger. He hasn't got that lap back. We're right on board with the 09. And comparatively, Chuck Sweeting going into turn 3, so there's only about a straightaway separating these two. If they do come down pit road, it's going to be really close for the 09, but he also has the fresh tire advantage here.
Yep, here comes a quarter.
Down pit road for the 73.
And this is what could force Sweeting's hand. We haven't really talked about how big the fall off is tonight, but McWhorter's fastest lap was a 31.7, and he was 1.7 seconds off that last time. So the gap is big enough to where undercutting by 1 or 2 laps could get that 73 in front of Chuck Sweeting. So can't afford to give him 2 laps. See if the 75 responds. He goes to the bottom. Yes, he will.
So down pit road now for Chuck Sweeting, and the closing laps, 34 laps to go. Seth Hatchell, he's clutching it, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
At least we know he has a pedal. That is important. But it is a big save for Jeff Wright right now, and he went 2 laps longer than Seth Hatchell. So Seth Hatchell has to go 42 to the end. That's going to be a tall task, but he does have a gap to work with. He has 18 seconds to the 48 of Jeff Wright. So if he needs to back down a lot, he might have the room to, as gonna have to pay attention to that battle off of pit road where the 73 and 75 come out. As Order is off of pit road. Chad Klinger does have a decent gap to the 73, but now we have to look at Chuck Sweeting.
So here comes McWhorter across the line now, and the 75 of Sweeting is leaving pit road. It gets a little loose there, touches the yellow line. He might get a penalty for that.
Yeah, that was really close as Klinger gets away with the lead, or what would be the lead. But McWhorter did not gain a lot on Sweeting. So 75 out in front of a 73, that'll be big, but still got to chase it down. Yeah.
We got to see if he got that penalty. That was really close on the exit.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, as he'll have to chase out Chad Klinger if he doesn't get that penalty, as now the focus shifts to Seth Hatchell, who does not have 19 seconds on the 48. That was an error on my part. He has 6.5 to him, but still, if he has some room to back off if he needs to.
So Jeff Wright, 6 seconds back. You know he's still saving fuel. We heard that from the very start of this run. Hatchell probably just praying for a caution at this point. I don't think he's going to be able to save 42 laps.
Just have to see. He clearly believes that he can still do it if he's still trying to, because he could have bailed off this strategy if he thought he didn't have a shot at it. He's still trying to do this, but he's not clutching even as long as the 48 is. Jeff Wright is still clutching. Actually, saying that last time by, Jeff Wright didn't clutch into the corner that much either, so both of them still saving, but one has to do a lot more than the other.
There's two things to succeed in life: ignorance and confidence. You have those things combined, you can do anything, right?
No doubt about that. Says, I think that's Carwell unlapping himself. He's running 11th. Caleb Weekly just pit, so one of those other late 3-stoppers coming down. Hatchell and Wright aren't the only ones trying this. Lucas Lyons, I think, pit lap 100 as well, so he's 3rd currently. And Michael Kostick as well doing the same thing, and Daniel Cunningham. So they're not in the battle for the win. Kostick 8th, Cunningham 11th, Lyons 3rd. But those top two, they're in the best spot possible to make a potential strategy like this happen.
So Jeff Wright has narrowed the lead down to 5.7 seconds, sitting there waiting for Seth Hatchell in case something happens. You can hear the 84 clutching it. About 20 laps to go. Can the 84 car, who started from the pole, get the race win? Or is it going to be another Jeff Wright show? Or do both these guys run out of fuel and Chad Klinger or Lucas Lyons clutch enough fuel to win this race?
I think it's going to be Sweeting versus Wright with the way Hatchell's looking to be a tough on fuel, and Chad Klinger just, I don't know if his undercut's going to hold up in time. But right now, looking at it, this time by Hatchell's, next time by, he'll take 18 to go. And right now, Chad Klinger trying to look at how far behind he is, about 19 seconds. So a little over a second lap will get him to the 84 no matter what, but it's just a matter of getting there.
3 seconds separating Chuck Sweeting from 4th to 5th. And Joseph McWhorter is 2.1 seconds back from the 75. So yeah, it can go any direction. We're still talking about the strategies that could get thrown completely out the window with one caution. You're going to see everybody come down pit road.
It will be only a few drivers on the lead lap if we got a yellow. Right now we have 10. Ended with Michael Kostick, who is one of those guys going one stop. He's sitting right in front of a leader, Seth Hatchell, actually. So if both of them are in a situation where they need to save, Hatchell can get some draft from him, and maybe that'll help him a little bit, as he is that last one in the lead lap. And then I think the first driver on the committed 3-stop who's a lap down is Taylor Butcher Benjamin in 13th, who's just trying to catch those guys.
So the top 10 from Kostick, right in front of Seth Hatchell. And you hear the clutch pedal working again on the 84. 35 laps led. We never did get around to it, so we're going to do it now. We've got to bring the noise. We took a week off from it, so we're going to do it this week. It's presented by Harpoon Design. Let's bring some noise. What do you say, Connor?
I'm ready for it. Don't get to a 48 or 84. They're not bringing much noise entering the corner.
So we brought the noise, presented by Harpoon Design, and as we wind down this race with 127 laps in the books, Seth Hatchell, your leader, trying to save fuel. The lead has been cut down by Jeff Wright to 4.8 seconds. That's not much time left to save if he does get to that point where he's 1 lap short. I don't know, Connor.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. Hatchell has time. He still has that time with the 48 to give up if he needs to. But right now, the battle's for third. If those two run out, this would be the battle for the win. Klinger and the 75 of Sweeting side by side. I don't think Chad Klinger can defend much here.
Yeah, we're talking about over 10 laps and tires there, and the 09 just going to concede. Another one of those strategies that the 09, he was committed right from the start. He pitted on lap 41, and he's just kind of been committed to that 3-stop since this ran began. It just didn't pan out well enough. Chuck Sweeting and those guys in company also on 3-stop, but staying out just a little bit longer.
It really was the second stop of the strategy. He just pit a little bit too early where Sweeting just got such a big tire advantage and Klinger just couldn't do anything about it. So he had no choice but to undercut again, and this is the obvious result. But now we clearly have our competitors for the win. It's Hatchell and Wright and then Chuck Sweeting. There's no one behind the 75 that will catch him, most likely. Trying to see, the 81 is the closest on pace with the 75, but 9 seconds behind him. 8 seconds behind him. So it's really the 84, the 48, and the 75 we have to look at now.
73 of McWhorter. He is 1.8 seconds back from Chad Klinger. So potential if the top two run out of fuel to get a top 3, but he's probably not going to pass Chad Klinger in time.
Oh, we'll see. This time by will be 10 to go. He was 4/10 faster last time by, so I think he'll have a shot at him. It's just a matter of getting to get the traffic quickly. He's got Joel Swaim right in front of him. Debut race for both the 42 and 43. Brandon Wallace pits, laps down. But, running solidly in 16th, and most importantly, with a clean race car.
That time by only a 10th, really not even a full 10th, but bring, I guess, yeah, a 10th of a second. It's going to be close here. Chad Klinger just put down a good lap. I think the last one by, he had the 75 of Sweeting still in his wake. So here we go. 8 seconds separate Jeff Wright and Chuck Sweeting. Seth Hatchell 4.2 seconds ahead. It's coming down to the nitty-gritty. 8 laps to go. Hatchell's still on the clutch. I don't know if he can make it. That's 42 laps on the stretch.
Last time by, Jeff Wright blanked out. Last time by, Jeff Wright just under a 10th faster than the 84. Chuck Sweeting was 7.5 tenths faster than the 48 last time by, but he is, I believe, trying to look, he is about maybe 8 seconds behind, and this time by 8 laps to go. If Seth Hatchell can make it, he's going to be able to stay in front of the 75 if he doesn't have to back up more than he has to. And if Jeff Wright doesn't have to back off more than he needs to, it's going to be a little struggle for Sweeting to even get to the 48 as well. So if they can make it, but it's all about if so far.
And across the line, approaching 5 to go. Hatchell would be a first-time win here for the 84, I do believe.
Yes, no wins this season. 6 different winners. Jeff Wright has 5 of them, and then all one-time winners. Banks, Klinger, Hutton, Stravato, and Bailey Turner. So he'd be our 7th. He'd be a big one as well. It'd only be his 4th start of the season if he could pull it off. But he is still bleeding time to both Wright and Sweeting.
3.5 seconds now, and I'm not hearing much saving on the 48 car anymore.
Yeah, he could have picked up the pace at this point. No clutch into turn 3, like you said. Time to go. So he doesn't really know if the 84 can make it or not. So at this point, he's got to push to at least catch him and pressure him. He does clutch into turn 1 though, so not quite done saving, but it is not as long as it was earlier.
Well, it just occurred to me that we have some issues with our ticker, and we didn't have the green up there. I refreshed it to see if it works out, but we might have to manually do these white flags. Let's mess it up. I'm sure I will. Cross the line now for the 84 of Seth Hatchell. 5 laps to go. 3.3 seconds separate him and Jeff Wright. Chuck Sweeting 9 seconds back from your leader. It's going to come down to who saved the right amount of fuel, who made the good strategy call. Chad Klinger, can he get a top 3 out of this? Joseph McWhorter, also a question mark. He's catching up to the 09 of Klinger, who has the lap down car of Joel Swain just behind him.
About 2 weeks in a row where it comes down to fuel. I really didn't expect it to happen at Richmond, and also didn't expect it here, but we're getting it. 4 to go. Hatchell's still clearly under power as Jeff Wright closes in. Really not a lot, by a 10th last time by, but that won't be enough. I would say if Hatchell needs to save a little bit more, he has the room to give it up. I don't think Chuck Sweeting's even going to really get to Jeff Wright if the 48 can make it, so he's got to back off a lot more if he needs to.
Coming out of turns 3 and 4, so on the clutch pedal, Jeff Wright stops saving 2.8 seconds as they exit turn 4. But so is Hatchell. Hatchell's back on it. I don't think he's saving quite as much anymore. He's going to clutch into 1.
That was a pretty big save right there, but Jeff Wright also still on the clutch pedal, so both these drivers not even close to safe. I still have to believe if Wright's still saving, I don't know how Hatchell can make it, but you just never know. This time by should be 2 to go. You got a chance to pit if you know you can't make it, but it is so hard to give up the lead when you're in this situation. Hatchell goes again.
He's going to go 2 more times around, hopefully at speed. He's caught up to the 99 of Brandon Wallace. He can use this to his drafting advantage. This might help him save just enough fuel. He's had some lap traffic in front of him since we went back green, and that might have been a benefit to him. Off of 3 and 4, he's going to get the white flag. Can he make it? Seth Hatchell, Jeff Wright, Chuck Sweeting, your top 3. Chad Klinger, Joseph McWhorter, the top 5. Most realistically, Chuck Sweeting can win this race if your top 2 don't have enough. White flag in the air now. He just has to do it one more time.
This is looking like could be a good day, but still got a long way to go. He's underpowered down the back straightaway, and he might be able to even coast from here. Jeff Wright can't get there, and Chuck Sweeting still a ways back.
Well, here he comes. Office turns 3 and 4. It sounds like he saved enough fuel. Seth Hatchell, with an excellent strategy, is going to win here tonight at Kentucky Speedway. Saturday Night Racing League, first-time winner.
Wright holds on for second. Sweeting's got to be devastated to get third there. Klinger holds off McWhorter for fourth after the 43 gets in the way, and he's not happy with him. Even hits him after the line. Carwell sixth. What a race. Did not expect that strategy to come into play, and we both thought the 84 was out to lunch, but what a strategy. Incredible job saving all that fuel.
41 laps on that stint. He saved just enough, and I guarantee if he does do a burnout, it's going to last about 0.5 seconds. There's no way he has enough fuel left in that tank. Might want to shake it up a little bit.
73 actually turned Joel Swain after the checkered flag, but never mind that. Let's see how much fuel he really does have. He's got plenty for at least maybe something here. That's just how it happens in real life, too. You think they're so close on fuel, then you do burnouts way after.
And that might be it.
Yeah, I think that's it. He got
Enough
more.
to coast it back around.
He got more than Chad Klinger last week, that's for sure.
Well, congratulations to the first-time winner in only his 4th start here at Saturday Night Racing League. The 84 of Seth Hatchell hangs on and gets the win at Kentucky Speedway. Post-race interviews with your top 5, or top 3 rather. Saturday Night Racing League live on V-Speed. We're going to take a quick commercial break while we gather these guys up down in Victory Lane and on pit road. We'll be back right after this.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Saturday Night Racing League back here. Concluded 140 laps here for race number 11. Kentucky Speedway was no shortage of action. We had fuel strategies, we had cautions, we had a new first-time winner. So we try to get caught up with our top 3. We don't have our third-place finisher, Chuck Sweeting, down on pit road. Might have loaded it up into the hauler, but we do have second-place finisher, Jeff Wright, down on pit road. We're going to talk to him momentarily. There he is right there. Second place finisher here tonight, Jeff Wright. And the field strategy that you pulled, yeah, I thought you had it. I mean, based off of what we saw, it looked like you were going to be in the right spot, and Seth was able to edge it out just 2 more laps than you.
Yeah, no, it was really impressive. Seth was able to make that. I was thinking that being able to go the 2 extra laps was going to be the difference maker there, and I was, thought we were in a really good spot. But Seth is really good at these fuel strategy races. He was obviously really fast tonight, qualified on pole. If he wasn't, if he didn't get that restart penalty, he would have been probably leading the whole race. So, but yeah, we gave it all we could. Reggie gave me some good strategy tonight, so I appreciate that. But I think the fastest car won the race tonight, and the guy that played the strategy the best one tonight as well. So big congrats to Seth.
First time winner, Seth Hatchell, in his 4th start, I do believe. And we come back to these mile and a halves. Jeff, it's been a really dominated season here. You got 5 wins under your belt. Last week at Richmond, not exactly sure where you ended up, but sitting in the points right now, things are still looking good as we approach that cutoff.
Yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot. AJ was, I believe, the closest to me in points, and he got taken out early tonight. So unfortunate for him, but I think that puts us in a little safer spot in points. So if we have to miss another race, I think with AJ having a not so great night tonight, that that'll just be a bigger cushion for us. So yeah, I think we're gonna come out pretty solid here in the points. Richmond last week, I thought I was had fairly good pace, but Chad Klinger, he dominated that race. He was for a while I was trying to get around as best I could and couldn't find a way. So I tried a little different strategy and ended up P8. So but yeah, for tonight to come away with second, especially after spinning early. Really all by myself. I just got loose in the corner, got sideways, and then the guys all behind me had nowhere to go. So that was definitely all my fault there for sure. And so after an event like that, come back and run second. Super happy about that. And like I said, again, big congrats to Seth. He's one of those guys that are really good in the field strategy type stuff, as I mentioned before, and definitely not a surprise to see Seth in victory lane.
I'm glad to be back. I'm glad you guys brought the action, the field strategies, and all the different calculations you have to do as a driver. You had a little bit of an advantage there with the crew chief, but nonetheless, you come out in the top 3. Do you have anyone you'd like to shout out, Jeff, for tonight's performance?
Yeah, Reggie Ortega, first and foremost, for the pit strategy and hopping on the box. I know I'm in good hands whenever Reggie can get in here and help me with that type of stuff. I was, probably in a situation where I didn't know what was going to be the best choice. And Reggie was able to help me, get those 2 extra laps on Seth, which like I said, thought might be the difference maker. But and then also all the other league admins, Chad Klinger, Brian Chambliss, you guys with the broadcast team, everybody that supports this league, and then also the guys that have donated. So guys like Ray Massey, Andrew Telganoff has donated, and also the sponsors as well have chipped in financially. So just appreciate everybody who helps make these leagues happen. And yeah, looking forward to keeping the season rolling here as we approach the chase.
Congratulations, Jeff Wright. And we look forward to probably having you back up here in the broadcast booth with 8 races left. Actually, 7 rather, in the season. So congratulations, man.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Second place finisher Jeff Wright getting it done here at Kentucky Speedway for the second place. But I have Connor Horn down there in victory lane with your race winner, Seth Hatchell, down there in Kentucky victory lane. Take it away, Connor.
I do have Seth Hatchell here. I don't know what I'm covered in. I didn't look at what I got sprayed with as the team sprayed Seth Hatchell in virtual victory lane. But Seth Hatchell, this was your 4th start of the season, and you get the race win. You might have been the fastest driver here tonight. Jeff Wright certainly thought so. But you get it done on fuel strategy, outlasting the 48, and also staying ahead of the 75. At one point, did you realize cutting a stop off was going to get you the race win?
I think it was the second or third caution, whatever that last caution was before we had that long run to the end there. I saw we were right at a window. And to be honest, I wasn't really saving until that last run. I knew when Jeff went long with me coming up to that first stop, that first green flag stop, that he had the same idea. And yeah, I just wasn't really saving all because I was figuring we'd probably get another caution or whatnot. And I was thinking I was going to need, I don't know, a 10th or 2 gallons of fuel there to save, and I didn't think it was going to be that big of an issue. And then came out on that last stop and saw that I needed 5/10, so I had to save a ton there, and thankfully just had enough gap to stay ahead of Jeff there and of Chuck.
Yeah, definitely looked to be down to the wire, but at the very end of the day, you still had some fuel to do a few burnouts more. It was a few burnouts more than what we saw the 09 do on the same fuel strategy last week. And we saw specifically the 48 as he started to clutch and coast on the first of those 3 stints he did, how sideways he was jerking the car after getting on and off the clutch pedal. Was that an issue at all for you, having handling issues, trying to clutch in and coast?
I've had a lot of experience in the past, sort of learning how to use the clutch, how to sort of back out of it easy and sort of slip it, and you sort of get the car to turn. The biggest issue I'd have is getting on the clutch and trying to coast as far as you can. The car's just really tight, not having the engine braking. So try and get off the throttle real early, get the clutch in, and then sort of slip it out when I needed to start turning. So nothing too big.
We lose contact with you, Connor. We still got you?
Yeah, now I'm back. I've had issues for some reason, but definitely looked like you're having some issues there. Where did I leave off? I'm sorry. I had some issues there.
I was talking about, slipping the clutch there, trying to get the car to turn a little bit and having to deal with not having the engine braking, help the car turn, so having to manage that. I ended up sort of trying to get as low as I could in the corners there that last run, sort of just run the shortest distance and lift as early as I could, and ended up working out.
It definitely worked out for you. Ended up winning by multiple seconds tonight. So congratulations to you on what ended up being maybe not completely dominating, but I believe a 5-second gap with 52 laps left. Anyone you want to thank for this? You've had a few great races this season.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for doing a great job of the broadcast. Got to thank Jeff and all the admins doing a great job this league, all the drivers putting on great racing, and my team V-Speed.
All right, well, that's your winner, Seth Hatchell, tonight. Gets his first of the season, 7th different winner this season. Congratulations to you. We'll maybe talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Well, there it is, your race winner, the 84 of Seth Hatchell. I didn't see it coming. I don't know about you, but I definitely didn't predict that happening. Seth did a phenomenal job here tonight, saving just enough.
Yeah, saved just enough and was able to outlast the 48 and also outlast the 3 stoppers that were led by Chuck Sweeting. Unfortunately, we can't get a hold of Chuck right now, so we got to ask the question. You want to go down and maybe get 4th place Chad Klinger maybe? You might be able to get a hold of him. What do you say?
I think I'm going to bring the results up on the screen. We can get a chat with Chad after the results, but we're going to bring them up for you right here. Seth Hatchell, your first-time winner. He's going to get some points over Jeff Wright, his 4th start here at Saturday Night Racing League. Chuck Sweeting going to bring it home 3rd. Chad Klinger in 4th. Joseph McWhorter in the 5th spot. Ryan Carwile 6th. Eric Hutton 7th. Michael Sturgill in 8th. That would be Lucas Lyons in 9th and Michael Kostick rounding out your top 10.
A great run for Lyons there, pulling off the 2-stop himself to get a top 10. Daniel Cunningham, Taylor Butcher Benjamin right there, also a lap down. Caleb Weekly, one of his Swaim brothers, I believe, there in the 42, finishing 14th. Steve McDonald, he was in, I believe, the third caution, ended up 15th. The other Swaim brother in the 43, 16th. Max Cost had a late stop, dropped him back to 17th. Ray Massey in the 18th position, had a rough last two stints for whatever reason. Mark McFadden 19th, and Brandon Wallace, who struggled after damage early, he finishes 20th.
Rounding out your field cars that did not finish this race, Alex Bell, Jonathan Cofield, and AJ Stravato all taking it behind pit wall. Stravato with that early crash into the outside wall, wrapping up his race here tonight. So we can pull up Chad Klinger. We do have a little bit of time left. If you want to talk to the 09, we can do that down there on pit road. If you've caught up with him, go ahead and take it away.
I did catch up with him. He's actually already in the garage area because we're not accustomed to finishing or talking to fourth place. But lucky for you, 2 weeks in a row, you get to talk to us, although it is only a fourth place finish for you, Chad Klinger. Another race that came down to fuel strategy where you're able to come out on top last week, but maybe just didn't have the pace to do it this week. And also, you weren't able to get a stop cut out of it. So where do you think your strategy went wrong tonight?
I could have done the strategy that Seth and Jeff did, but I decided to pit early and just split it into thirds just because I wanted to just do something different. I wanted to get out from behind McWhorter because I didn't think I could pass him at that point. So I pitted a little early and tried that strategy, and it unfortunately didn't work out for the win, but it was still a good strategy at my point.
Definitely still a solid strategy. You come second out of those three stoppers, only to Chuck Sweeting. It looked like you had control of the three stoppers for a while, but once the 75 committed and pit later, he just ran you down both times. Is there anything else you could have done differently to at least finish ahead of the 75 and give yourself a chance in case those two ran out?
I don't think so. He had so much more pace on the newer tires than I did, and I kind of wore myself out at the beginning of the runs, just to try and pass everybody as fast as I could. But yeah, I don't think I could have done anything else because he was fast tonight.
You were certainly fast tonight as well, and you came in at tonight third in the standings with Stravato's issues. I believe you'll definitely move up to second. So certainly for you, it's got to be great momentum coming into close to a chase time with two straight top fives, including a win.
Oh, definitely. The schedule, I really like the schedule. So the upcoming races, I hope I can do a lot better with, and maybe even catch Jeff to win the regular season title. But that's pretty hard to do with Jeff. So it's gonna be a good final half of the season, and we'll see how it goes.
We'll definitely see how it goes, and we'll definitely be seeing you probably at the front for a few more races, if not all of these races. Thank you for talking to us, and you have anyone else to thank, any sponsors, any friends, anything?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank Michael Sturgill. He's been a good teammate all season. I basically did his strategy tonight, so I want to first of all thank him. I want to thank all the admins, Jeff, Reggie, Brian. I want to thank you guys for being in the booth, doing such a great job. I also want to thank all the great drivers that come out every week.
And Chad Klinger making Saturday Night Racing League history, being the first driver to finish fourth, get interviewed by us, but still a solid top five for you. Thanks for talking to us, Chad.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You as well.
Well, there it is. Chad Klinger, your fourth place finisher here tonight at Kentucky Motor Speedway. That's going to conclude our racing broadcast here for the Saturday Night Racing League. If you have not hit that subscribe button for V-Speed, make sure to do that. Check out V-Speed 2, where they go live for the Champion Truck Series on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And outside of that, for everyone that works at V-Speed and makes this all possible, Adam Baker, Connor Horn, and myself, Bradley Cooper, we thank you for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody, and have a good one.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The ball gets burned!
Rabbit. Where did he come from? Here comes Slack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it at Auto Club. Two to go. Is anybody to try to maybe make a third one?
This race still very undecided.
The bottom lane just doesn't have enough cars now. The rules have been reversed.
They're running out of time and they know it.
How about Noah Mikulski in the 03? He did his hand in front of this battle. The bottom surges to the inside. Now pulls even with heading off the turn number 2.
900 horsepower at their feet.
Banks doesn't have